Hello, Sarah Sabin here, and I am really excited to have with me here today Vivek Thomas, who has just recently completed my Mastermind leadership program. Vivek, hello, welcome. And
Hello.
I hello. And I would love to start by asking why you wanted to be part of a mastermind group of leaders.
Okay, so when I first heard about the Mastermind course, the thing that really intrigued me was the fact that I could um, be in the company of peers, of fellow CEOs and decision makers, etc., from in fact all across the world. I find it difficult to get that kind of group. Let's see where I am right now. And the people maybe where I am right now might not give the same kind of feedback, etc. So I actually wanted to be part of this group so that I can learn from others, listen to others, and in a group situation, there are things which are discussed, which always actually even somebody else's problems can actually you might not realize that sometimes, and listening to those things or being part of that discussion is something that I really wanted, which is why I actually wanted to join the mastermind group.
Mm. And I know you've said that you learned a lot just by listening. And,
Mm.
in that listening process, you realize that a lot of the things that you deal with are not unique, or it makes you see something that you're dealing with in a different way just through being able to listen to other people.
Yes, I think that was one of the key things that, because there are times, so like for instance, during the mastermind group, without taking names here, but, you know, uh, I picked up, so there were certain characteristics that I saw in one of the participants, I mean, one of the guys, he was saying something about there was another person in his team who was also a co-founder, and there was some kind of tension going on over there. And then I realized that perhaps I might have been that other person, not him, but the other person. And I might have been giving the same kind of pain to many of my own, colleagues and peers. And that realization was, like it was like, oh my God, wow. And that helped me. That helped me feel the pain, and I could empathize with the other person.
Mm.
Because you see, when you yourself are doing something, you don't really get to experience the, let's say, the other person's, it's easy to say put yourself in somebody else's shoes, but when you actually listen, and then you from a distance, and you're watching this, the power play happen, um, that really got me thinking, and that also helped me correct some of my behaviors. Okay, so that's also very important, because you want to, why do you join a coaching class? Because it or a session, it's with the mindset that you find certain things where you can improve,
Mhm.
and then you make it a point that you try your best to improve on those things, because you very quickly realize that if you did those small corrections, that will have a massive impact, right? An immediate impact, and that's a very tangible impact as well. So especially in a company where people and the relationships between the people matter so much, uh, it leads to the overall company performing much better. Okay,
Mm.
so those are things that I picked up, right? um, from me telling things,
Mhm.
and then people telling me opinions about what they felt, and
Mm.
also listening to what others were telling and their problems and their challenges, and then reflecting how would that happen in my company, and then
Mm.
like those are the lessons that I actually picked up. So I mean, that's why this was a very great experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There are times when, let's say, I would be tired, because for me it was like late in the night, right? And I was thinking, oh my God, might not be really an interesting session. But I made it a point to attend all the sessions. I just missed maybe one because I was traveling. But each time I walked out of the session, I was like, oh my God, thank God I attended this session, right? Because there was something that I could pick up and I could really, really see the value in that thing. So I think that's why, and which is why when the mastermind group is happening again, yeah, I wanted in, right? Straight away. There was no need for me to think or, like procrastinate about it. No, bang, I just decided no. And, there might be a new set of people. Maybe I can learn from them or they can learn from me, and a collective improvement can happen, right, for the entire group.
Yeah, I love everything that you've said there. I mean, the sometimes in order to see the impact of what we're doing, we need to
Yes.
hear from another person that is completely objective and removed from us, how they feel when they are in the position and dealing with the tension, and it kind of strikes a chord of empathy within us again, because there's that objective third party removal, which is why a peer group is so effective where they're not in the same company because you're not emotionally involved in each other's things.
That's the key point, right? Because they can be very, very objective, right, in giving you, and they have nothing, there's no, we can say something, and it's up to the other person to actually accept it or not take it. Doesn't matter. But the point is, everybody respected the views, right? I might have said something controversial, but they were like, okay, I get where you're coming from, right? Or something like that. So that was something which was really, really, I found it very impactful, at least for me, And while, there were certain challenges within the group, there were some certain people facing some, like really difficult challenges. But, everybody in that group was also very, very positive, right? That was very important, I think. And the other thing that you realize that, like, no company on this planet, the best of the best, or smallest to the biggest, everybody will have issues or challenges or problems. Even if you're making tons of money, even Apple, the best company, you think all of them, no company will not have this. So, and it's about, and I think leadership over there is about, and that was also a big thing for me, because many a times you'll be like thinking, oh my God, then you might think like you're Atlas, right, with the weight of the world, on your shoulders. But it's every single person in that group has that same weight, right? They're taking on the same weight. And it's interesting how they would approach it. And I want to listen to that. I want to listen, because then you can learn, okay, that's the way to approach this problem. You might not do it, but you learn, you pick up little snippets, you pick up, like case studies, you pick up, that's how you actually improve, right? So that's why for me, those just listening, being part, talking, reacting, right? And even those exercises, when you're doing those exercises, right? And then again, talking about what happens in those exercises, all of those things help you to, like move forward, right? For me, at least, that was really, really good, because, you know, some of the things that, at least for me, right, which came out of this, right? And I did this course almost 7 months, right? 6.5 months, correct?
It was
And
about 6 months, yes.
correct, right? So we had so many classes, we were doing it week in, week out, right? And everybody was switched on, everybody was there. In the beginning, the first few classes itself, right? I felt that, I'll tell you what all changed in the company. But in the first few classes, we had that vision, mission, and all that, which is all standard. I mean, everybody should have this, right? But we had this exercise, and I wrote those ones. And guess what? In 2 months, I was able to change my website to a completely new website, which we felt, and I had shown it to others. And there were guys in the group who commented on it, and they were very, honest. They said that here's what I feel, or here's what I think it is. And so the website came out. That's a very, like, okay. And that has helped us, right? I was also able to, like, during the course, like, I realized that one of the business units will not be profitable anymore.
Mhm.
And it was a decision that I took to just, like cut that unit, right? And reallocate the resources, right? And it was actually, the team was actually quite shocked I did that. But also that, I also explained, here's what I did it. And this is, and the importance was on quick decision making, right? Rather than procrastinate. We had this session about procrastination and all that. And then, when I did that decision, some people were shocked. But I think some of the others were like, wow, that's the way to take a decision. Don't
Mhm.
wait. So I think maybe somebody else would have learned from that fact, right? So that was the thing. And then towards the end as well, right? For me to get, so then we were talking about profits and all that, why we should always be focused on those things, right? I was listening. Everybody's struggling. Okay, yes, we need to have investment. Some people had investment troubles. Some other people had, like scalability issues. I personally was having profitability issues, right? So those kind of discussions and moving your company towards a guide. Okay, I said that, okay, take some goals, like for instance, a goal of, okay, this year I don't want to be at a poor single digit kind of profitability. I want a good double digit profitability, which is in excess of about 30%, right? So to move those things and put that, that the group, while the group, you see, there are set of decisions, or sorry, discussions happen during the group. You come back out of the group. Once you're out of it, then you start to reflect, and that's when you take your decisions into your company, right?
Mhm.
So I felt that while the sessions were going on, I was listening, reflecting, and storing the things into my mind. And then when it came to the decision making time for the company, I took these decisions. That's how X, Y, Z, and all that was, like I could move, make a tangible kind of movement. Another thing that I can, which I picked up during the group, was this thing about, being, I'm a little bit of an impulsive person and I can get emotional and all that, right? While, while working. So that's my passion, which comes out. But um, there was a session about how to communicate with others,
Mhm.
right? And the whole learning was like, and I understood the pain that the other people, and because I got that, right? That, oh my God, if I go in this emotional way, then the message is not going through, right? And so there was the new technique which said, okay, let's distance ourselves, let's be chilled about it, right? And there was this technique of, hey, here's what I observe, what's happening: observation, feeling, expectation. That three words, which again now we have implemented into our appraisal system as well.
Mhm.
I did that. I had a little bit of an issue with some people, which I got addressed. That was an immediate impact, right? And the team also understood, okay, here's why, let's say the CEO or head is a bit frustrated. They understand, but it came not from the point of blah blah blah, where like pointedly poking them, but you gave it in a very, very in from a position of calmness. So they also accepted that, right? And the good thing for me was that they not only they accepted that, and I saw some clear changes in behavior
Mhm.
in the team. Okay, so that's something as well for me, which was very, very useful, right? So I was able to take that lessons and put it, implement it. I'm using it myself, right? We are all work in progresses. See, I don't think as humans we will ever stop learning. We'll keep learning, right? But if you have that mindset that there is an opportunity for you to actually continue to improve yourself, then such like courses that like this make you aware, first of all, because many a times you are unaware of
Mhm.
your own, let's say there are some gaps in you. It is that awareness that's important, because we might be able to solve that if we are aware, correct? First is comes the awareness, then comes perhaps a technique or some ideas. Then you look at like how others perhaps are perceiving these things, and then you do it yourself, right? So that's the method that I was trying to at least implement for myself.
Mm. And, a lot of the things that create the biggest impact are actually really simple, right? Because you can just boil it down to a few steps that make a big difference. And obviously, you have to actually take those steps. I will say that. But, you have always been an action taker anyway. So, it becomes a thing that you want to do when you take the steps and you're like, oh, wow, that actually gets much better results than what I was doing before. Let's just do that now.
Correct. That, taking that point, like one of the things that I picked up from this course, right, as well during the discussions was this building. So one of the like we as humans, right, when we are perhaps early entrepreneurs, we take a lot of crazy decisions. Then some go good, some go bad, right? But the bad somehow sometimes stick. And then that scares you from taking some other, perhaps good decisions. So then there was this discussion about how we should build a body of evidence, right, on both positive and negative stories. And that thing really, really helped me to take certain, like crucial decisions as well. So, and also I told that to the, my own team. I said that, see, guys, here's what we should do. Let's build a body of evidence on it, because then you will convince yourselves. I don't need to tell you that again. So I think that was a positive reinforcement as well, or negative as well. Even negative, okay, right? Here's what happens. There is something negative, and then you also build a body of evidence. Oh, okay, I don't want to go there, right? So for both the positive and negative, I think that 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 would so if you find a body of evidence, then you will reinforce the positive behaviors and you will try to reduce the negative, right? So at least you get on that path. Okay, have I completely succeeded? No, obviously not, right? But am I on the path towards it? I think that's what I felt that I was getting to. Okay, so that was a very, very important thing, for me at least.
Well, you raised a very good point. We're actually never done with learning. We're always a work in progress. So, you acknowledge that and you take consistent steps, and that's it. It's
Yes.
really as simple as that. So, final question, Vivek. Would you recommend the Mastermind, and to what type of person would you recommend Mastermind?
Okay. So, I mean, like one of the things about Mastermind, I mean, like I've taken one class and I'm going to go for the next one again, right? I'm going to take it again. So but if I recommend it to myself, I would definitely recommend it to everybody, right?
Yes.
And that's the proof, right? If you're giving repeat business, then you know that you're already great, right? Yeah. So, and then, I always, the 2 hours of business, right? Repeat referral. If you're very good, you get repeat business. But when you're excellent, you refer, right? So who would I refer it to? I would refer it to every person who's in uh, top management and upwards, right? In the C-suite, definitely. People who want to listen to others. I mean, it can be a big company, it can be a medium-sized company, or even a small-sized company like ours, right? I think it is good because you see, I think the lessons can be learned from everywhere, right? So if you're a large company, you might be missing out certain nimbleness, certain things. So C-suite is whom I would recommend this for, and I think the more wider the audience, the better the learnings, in my opinion as well. So that is what I would say.
Hey, thank you so much for this conversation today, Vivek.
Yeah, my pleasure, Sarah. It's always been great, fantastic learning from you and being part of your programs.
Oh, thank you, Vivek. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Mhm.